Imagine a world where genetic disease could be cured by editing out a single line of genetic code. I'm Elizabeth, and today I'm going to discuss CRISPR technology and its groundbreaking approach to understanding and potentially curing genetic disorders. While I was doing my research for this speech, I came across so many useful peer-reviewed articles. One author in particular caught my attention from the New York Times, Gina Kolata, who has been following genetic mutations, disease, and the cures and treatments for those diseases for over 30 years. CRISPR stands for Clustered Regulatory Interspace Palindromic Repeats. I know that that's a mouthful, but it is a specialized region of DNA that is the basis for this gene editing technology. In a peer-reviewed article, Sweda et al. 2021, it is an adaptive immunity system found in bacteria. And they take these adaptive immunity systems from tiny bacteria and they apply them to editing human genome. And that is mind-blowing. In an article by Gina Kolata, she says that CRISPR is a powerful potential cure for an illness that affects more than 100,000 Americans. The mechanisms for CRISPR use a complex system to edit faulty DNA and to replace it with healthy DNA. Gina Kolata states that after editing a patient's cells with CRISPR, technicians do a series of quality checks about 16 weeks after the process begins. The cells are shipped back to the medical center and infused back into the patient. I would like to offer a simplified version of this process. It's very complex, but I'm going to break it down. Essentially, a patient with a genetic disorder would be admitted to one of only 9 hospitals in the United States that is approved for CRISPR treatment. They would then be infused with a drug that causes their bone marrow stem cells to release themselves into the blood. And they take a sample of those stem cells, they send it to one of 2 CRISPR-Cas9 labs in the United States, and they are edited, they're sent back to the patient, reinfused, and then the human body takes over the rest of the process where essentially your healthy cells reproduce and your old cells die off and eventually disappear, curing you. So CRISPR technology has mainly been used in conditions like sickle cell anemia and B thalassemia. If you look right here, this is the normal blood cell, this is a sickle cell, and these are normal blood cells, and this is thalassemia. What these 2 diseases have in common is that they both cause mutations in the blood cells, and they get caught in the circulatory systems of the individual with the disease. This causes heart attacks, strokes, excruciating pain, and so many other really terrible symptoms. According to Dr. Hadel from Gal, both diseases are caused by mutations in the hemoglobin B subunit gene. Some current medical breakthroughs for CRISPR include the Food and Drug Administration approval has allowed patients to register for clinical trials. According to Gina Kolata, the Food and Drug Administration approved the first gene editing therapy to be used on humans in 2023. About 70 patients so far have been through these clinical trials, and every single one of those patients, though it isn't many really, they have all been successful. They have not had any adverse reactions, and that's very promising. Patients that have gone through these clinical trials have reported total alleviation. Gina Kolata points out in an interview with someone in her article, Miss Tornenu said that she no longer has the pain crisis that plagued her, especially in high school when she was hospitalized nearly every month. The potential and limitations for CRISPR technology. I wanted to focus on applications for genetic mutations, but there are so many other uses for CRISPR technology. According to Sueda et al. 2021, it can also be useful in metabolic conditions, curing cancer, developing sustainable fuel production and chemicals, in improving the quality of food crops, and thus catering to the global food demands. Potential risks of CRISPR. While we would hope for a seamless miracle cure for these genetic mutations, unfortunately, there's usually a catch, right? Gina Kolata states that there is concern that CRISPR could inadvertently snip a piece of DNA in the wrong part of a patient's genome. This could cause a blood cancer. Kolata also had an interview with a Dr. Joseph Wu, and Dr. Joseph Wu stated that we all agree that the benefits outweigh the risks. 70 patients, none of them have had this happen, but it is a possibility, and we have to keep that in mind for ethical reasons. Some limitations of CRISPR are going to be that it's not an easy treatment to endure. You're looking at 1 month minimum in the hospital, with a cost of about $2.2 million, and that is after cheaper versions have been made available. Gina Kolata states that Vertex states its price to edit a patient's genes will be $2.2 million. For Bluebird, it will be $3.1 million. Now, insurance companies have expressed willingness to pay for these treatments. As Gina also points out, living with the disease is also extremely costly. CRISPR technology is an amazing technology that has made it possible for these people with genetic mutations to live a longer and more healthy life. They are actually looking at living more into their 80s and 90s instead of dying at 35. With more research and studies, CRISPR has the potential to wipe out genetic mutations altogether. CRISPR is a gene editing tool that can potentially treat genetic mutations, offering hope for millions affected by genetic disease. Thank you. Let me do my little roundabout. Trying to make sure I stay within my 6 minutes here. Don't know where I'm at right now, but I'm going to watch it. I've had a really difficult day today. Concentrating on redoing all of this was really difficult, but I understand. I had to do my best and fight through it, and I think it didn't come out as bad as I thought that it was going to come out. It was a rough day, especially after they told me that my car was going to be $700 more than it was supposed to be somehow, and I have to figure out how to pay for that by tomorrow, and many other things, but thank you. That's it.